Welcome to the Guy's Guide. I'm Chef Robert Fair, and today I'm going to teach you how to fake it like a pro. Guys, today we're going to be making our Valentine's Day fare menu, which consists of our mustard glazed rack of lamb with our rosemary roasted potatoes and toasted garlic sauteed Swiss chard. Guys, we're going to go ahead and get started with our mustard glaze for our rack of lamb. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and take 4 spoonfuls of Grey Poupon mustard and put it right down into our bowl like this. Again, we don't like to measure out anything at the Guy's Guide, so 4 spoonfuls. Just go ahead and eye it out. 4 tablespoons and you'll be good to go. We're going to go ahead and take some of our stone ground mustard. We are going to take 4 spoonfuls of that as well. Go ahead and incorporate it to our Grey Poupon mustard. Now we're going to take about a teaspoon of minced garlic, just a little bit right into the mustard like that. It'll take it as far as it needs to go. We're going to add a little bit of salt, a little bit of pepper, a little bit of lemon pepper, a little bit of garlic powder, and a little bit of Hungarian paprika. And the Hungarian paprika is going to give it a nice reddish tint. Now we're going to go ahead and add our chopped mint. So I'm going to add about 3 chopped soup spoons. Now we have the majority of our ingredients in here. We need a binding agent. So we're going to actually use a little bit of La Crema white wine. We use a lot of this wine here at the Guy's Guide. It has a malolactic kind of buttery flavor to it, perfect for drinking and for cooking. My motto is you cook with alcohol whenever and wherever you can. We're just going to whisk it in. And remember, we don't want to add too much wine, just enough so it kind of loosens up and says, hey, I'll work with you. The next thing we're going to add in, guys, is a little bit of extra virgin olive oil. This is going to act as a binding ingredient. Whisk it together, and it is good to go. All right, we're going to go ahead and get a sheet tray and move on to the actual glazing. We're going to go ahead and spray this down on the bottom of our sheet tray. And we're going to put our rack of lamb. And remember, guys, this is a Frenched rack of lamb, which means it has a fat cap removed and these little bones are exposed. We're going to go ahead and put that right down on top of our sheet tray. What we're going to do is we're going to take a spoonful of our glaze and we are going to go right over the top of that lamb. And this is when you want to be very liberal with your mustard glaze. It's going to soak into that meat while it's cooking in the oven and just give it an outstanding flavor. All right, now we're going to go ahead and turn it over. What we did to one side, remember, you always have to do to the other, okay? So we're going to go ahead and take a little bit more glaze and just go ahead and rest it right in that rib cage of the rack of lamb and go ahead and flip it on over again. Our mustard glazed rack of lamb is ready to go in the oven. We've preheated our oven to 375 degrees on convection bake. Again, if you don't have convection bake at home, go ahead and put it on 400 degrees. But what we're looking for is an internal temperature of 148 degrees Fahrenheit. We're going to go ahead and stick this in the oven. We're going to go ahead and get started on our roasted rosemary potatoes. And guys, basically what we're going to do is we're going to grab one of these red wax. It's actually called a red wax potato in the produce aisle. And what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and cut this in half, turn it over, cut it in half one more time, and we're actually going to cut it into fourths. So 1, 2, 3, 4 on the end. Go ahead and toss it into our bowl. What we're going to do is we're going to add, yeah, you guessed it, a little bit more Grey Poupon mustard, a little bit of sliced onion, a medley of chopped rosemary and chopped thyme, some Asian diced scallions, a little bit of La Crema white wine right over the top, and some extra virgin olive oil just to bind all those ingredients together. All right, we have our raw ingredients. Now, guys, we need to add our seasonings in there. And we're going to take a little bit of Hungarian paprika. This is going to give us some great color while it's roasting in the oven. A little bit of pepper medley that's been pre-ground. Some salt. Some lemon pepper. And some minced garlic. Now what you're going to do, guys, is you're just going to go ahead and give this a quick swirl and toss it up like this. And guys, it is that easy. This is done. All we have to do is go ahead and grab our Pam Organic Olive Oil Cooking Spray. We're going to go ahead and give our pan a nice spray on the bottom. All right, go ahead and spread this out into your pan evenly. One single layer, and it is that easy. Go ahead and pop it in a preheated oven at 400 degrees for about 20 minutes. When you take it out, it should be fork tender. We're going to go ahead and pop these in. We're actually going to move on to our toasted garlic sauteed Swiss chard. Sounds like a mouthful, and it is. We're going to get started with our Swiss chard here. This is actually called rainbow Swiss chard. And we have our normal Swiss chard with our nice purplish burgundy stem. What we're going to do is we're going to give these what I like to call a rough chop. We're going to go ahead and give this a rough chop. And guys, this is going to cook down to about 1/8 of the size as it is on this cutting board. All right, guys, we've got both of our Swiss chards chopped up, sitting in the bowl. Remember, this is a toasted garlic Swiss chard. So what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of olive oil to the bottom of the pan. And we're going to add some of that minced garlic. And guys, this really is one of those convenience items. We're going to go ahead and add in our chopped Swiss chard. You're going to hear it singe. We're going to take a little bit of our La Crema white wine right over the top. Now it needs some seasoning. We're going to hit it with a little bit of salt, a little bit of coarse ground black pepper, and we're going to give it a quick stir with some long tongs so that we don't burn our hand. And guys, it is that easy. Put the top on it, cook it on medium-high for about 3 to 5 minutes. You're going to have some perfectly toasted garlic sauteed Swiss chard. All right, guys, we've got our mustard glazed rack of lamb. It smells like it's about time to come out of the oven. Let's go ahead and give it a check. All right, we've got that beautiful mustard mint glaze crusted on the outside of our rack of lamb. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and check the temperature of our lamb. When you're checking the temperature of your lamb, you always want to make sure that you insert the thermometer into the thickest part of the meat. All right, that's exactly what we're looking for. We're going to go ahead and take the thermometer out and cover it with tin foil. We're going to let it sit to the side for about 5 or 10 minutes. It's going to have enough residual heat to actually finish the cooking process. All right, guys, our mustard glazed rack of lamb has been sitting for about 5 to 10 minutes. We're going to go ahead and slice it open and see if it's perfectly pink. Now, when you're slicing your rack of lamb, you always want to make sure that you go in between the rib cage all the way down through and find that link of cartilage with your knife and just give it a little bit of authority. That's exactly what you're looking for there, perfectly pink. We're going to go ahead and grab our roasted rosemary potatoes out of the oven. The onions have started to caramelize. The potatoes are definitely fork tender. We're going to go ahead and just, with the back of a chef's knife, just give these a quick mix. Now, guys, remember, whenever you're plating up something, you always want to plate in layers, and you always want to try and add height to your meal. What we're going to do is take some tongs and just make a nice little bed of the sauteed Swiss chard right at the bottom of our plate. We're going to take some of those roasted rosemary potatoes right on top. All right, guys, pour la pièce de résistance, we're going to grab a little bit of mustard glazed roasted rack of lamb. So perfectly pink. We're going to go ahead and put those right on top of our roasted rosemary potatoes and toasted garlic sauteed Swiss chard. We're going to hit it with a little bit of chopped mint to finish it off, and it is that easy, guys. From all of us here at The Guy's Guide, I'm Chef Robert Fair. Congratulations, you've just learned how to fake it like a pro.